Hi everyone, it's Lindy on here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today I thought we'd make this fun, whimsical winter card using some Lawn Fawn products. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with this Snowfall backdrop. This is the landscape version. And we're going to die cut that on some Bristol Smooth Strathmore 100-pound cardstock. I'm going to run this through my Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine. And you can see I'm turning it on a little bit of an angle so that it runs through a little bit easier. Then I'm going to use my Tim Holtz pick tool and just pick out all those little excess pieces. Now I'm going to grab some sparkle cardstock in Pixie dust, and that's going to go right behind that die cut piece, and you can see that those beautiful snowflakes will show through. So now I want to use the stitched hillside borders. And I'm going to create a couple of borders here using, again, some Bristol Smooth Strathmore paper. And I'm just trying to figure out approximately where I need those to be. So I had cut a piece of the paper by 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm putting one snowbank on one side and then flipping it over and putting the second one on. That way I can get two out of the one sheet of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and run those through the machine. And you can see now that I've got these two beautiful stitched borders. So those are going to line up on the card just like that. Now the next thing I want to do is with this border here, I'm going to create some background, and I'm going to be using some ink. So I'm just going to slide this down about a 1/2 inch. Just so I know approximately where I need to ink, so you can lightly see that pencil line, which we will not need to erase later because it's going to get covered again. So I'm grabbing my scattered straw, Distress Oxide, and at this point I realized that I wanted to do a sunrise. So I decided to grab a Post-it note, and I'm just going to make sure it fits on my little Sizzix Sidekick plate here. So I'm placing it sticky side down. And then I'm going to grab a circle die. This is from the Let's Bokeh stamp, coordinates with the Let's Bokeh stamp set. And I'm going to place that up at the top where there is some of the stickiness. And I'm going to run that through my die cut machine. Now you could certainly use a punch here. Whatever you have is fine. So I'm going to use my Tim Holtz Sidekick machine here, and I'm just running that through. And now I have a little circle with a little bit of sticky on it. So it's going to stay right on that paper when I do my inking. Now I'm just trying to figure out approximately where I want that to be. And I'm just going to press it in place. I will kind of hold on to it as I go along here just to make sure it doesn't move. And I'm pulling the ink kind of away from the circle just to make sure it doesn't pop off the paper there. So I'm just going to apply that scattered straw all over there, just kind of in a random pattern. And then I'm going to come in with the worn lipstick. And I'm just going to apply that just along that yellow line there. And again, this is all kind of random. This is just the first layer of color, so I'm not being fussy. Now I'm going to take some shaded lilac, and I'm going to do the same thing, just run it right along that pink edge there. And now I'm going to take some Stormy Sky, and I'm going to just apply that up towards the top. That is a little harder to see, but it did give a little bit more definition there. So now I'm going back to the scattered straw, and I'm just going to blend those two together a little bit better here now. Just kind of pulling those two inks together. And if you haven't used the Distress Oxides, you would be amazed when you do how beautifully they blend together. It's so easy. Very little effort is required. So now I put some more of that worn lipstick down, and now I'm going back to the shaded lilac and blending again. And then I'm going to grab that last color one more time, the Stormy Sky, and just go back across that top edge. And you can see how pretty that is. So now I'm removing the mask, and you can see that I have my little sunrise there. I'm taking the scattered straw applicator with no ink on it. I'm just using what's on there, pressing down and twisting 3 or 4 times. And that will just create a little bit of a shadow on that sun. Now I'm going to grab some weathered wood, and I'm just going to apply that sort of along the edges and a few different points along the top of the snowbank there. Not all of it, just a few different areas, just to give it a little shading or shadowing. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I like to put a little bit down in that lower part of the snowbank and then along the sides. And then when the two are together, you can see that you get a little bit of shadowing there. And then again, that glitter paper will slide right underneath. So now taking the outside in stitched Christmas tree stackables, I'm going to die cut those two, the small and the medium, out of the glitter cardstock. And I'm going to cut 3 of the little ones and 1 of that large one. So now that large one is going to sit off to the left-hand side of the card here. And those 3 little ones are going to go up top on that snowbank. So I decided I would stamp my saying on that little snowbank first. And I'm going to grab the saying says, "Have a magical winter season." And I'm going to use my VersaFine Onyx Black ink to stamp that. So I'm just going to quickly stamp that and set that aside. Now from the Frosty Fairy Friends Stamps and Dies, I'm going to grab these images here and stamp them. So you can see that I have both fairies, 2 of the branches, 3 of the little mushrooms, and the magic wand. Now I do want to stamp the little scarf and the little hand warmer on each of these on the glitter paper. I'm going to cut those out and attach them to my little fairies. So you can see there that they were quickly cut out. Now I'm going to grab my 723, which is a pink color, and start coloring in the berries. I'm just going to apply it towards the side of each of those little berries. And then I'm going to grab my blender pen, which is N00, and I'm just making sure that it's clean there. And I'm going to blend that color out. Just trying to keep the one side of the berry a little bit lighter than the other. Now I decided to go back in with a second coat of the pink and add a little bit more here and pull those 2 colors, or that color again, over towards the side. And it's very simple and easy to do, and I'm just cleaning off the pen, just taking some of the color off. If it gets a little too dark, just remove the color from the blender and continue on. So now with 992 and 977, which are 2 shades of like a tan and a brown, I'm putting that lighter tan color on first, and then the little bit of darker brown, I'm just going to put that up towards the top of the berries there, and then use my blender pen, making sure it's clean, and pulling that color, those 2 colors together. And not a lot of fussing here. I did the same thing with the other one. Now taking those 2 same brown colors again for my mushroom, I'm taking that lighter brown color first, then coming in with the darker brown. Then I'm grabbing the blender pen and I'm just going to pull those 2 colors together. And then I decided to come in with this N45, which is a darker gray color. And I thought that would just give a little bit more definition to the shadows here and give it more of a gray tint like a mushroom might have. So I'm just pulling those 2 colors together, and I think that added a lot there. So I went ahead and added back that light tan gray to those 2 little circular areas on the mushroom. I continue to color those in, and now I'm coming in with 553, which is a periwinkle color. I colored in the little magic wand, and now I'm going to color in the wings on the little fairies. So I applied that first color, and then started blending it. And now I'm going to apply a second coat of that color and blend a little bit more. I didn't want to introduce another color, so I'm just going to use 2 coats of that periwinkle color and pull it in. Now for the other side I did the exact same thing, and now I'm taking 991, which is like a yellowy color, a really pretty butter yellow color, and N45, which again is that darker gray color. And you know it sounds weird, but I just wanted to add a little shadow to the top of her hair there. And I didn't want to introduce a brown or anything, so I grabbed the gray again and just kind of pulled that into her hair. But then I decided to go back with that yellow color and pull that color together, just to brighten the hair back up a little bit. So you can kind of go back and forth if you need to with these. So with 723 and 761, which is a light pink and a dark pink, I'm going to do her dress. I'm starting with the darker pink color, and then with the light I'm going to pull that color down. Now you could certainly use your blender here. I just decided to use the 2 tones of pinks to do the blending. I'm going to do the same thing on the sleeves. And on her little earmuffs there, I'm doing the same. Just adding the dark pink first and then blending it out with the lighter color. Now with number 850, which is a flesh tone color, I'm just going to color her face in with that. Then I'm going back to the 761, which is the light pink, and I'm just adding it to her cheeks there. And then I'm going to take my blender, and it did have some brown still on it, so you do want to make sure you check and clean your blender. I'm just blending out the little bit of pink on her cheeks there. Now with N75, which is a very, very light gray color, I'm just adding a little shadow to the bottom of her little dress there and blending that together. Now back again with N45, I colored her little booties in with that. And then I did the same thing for the other fairy, exactly the same. So now I'm going to take my dies and I'm going to die cut all of those out. And you can see there we have everything all set. So I'm grabbing my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen. This is the crystal clear. And I'm going to add some sparkle there to her little fairy wings on both of them. I'm cleaning that off as well. A little bit on the bottom of her dress there. And then I'm going to glitter each of these mushrooms, which I have to say added a lot to the mushrooms. They look so cute. And then I'm going to do the little magic wand and all of the little berries on these branches. So now that those are all set, I'm going to go ahead and take my glue tube from Lawn Fawn, and I'm going to just put a little dot of glue there and attach this little hand warmer piece to the front of her outfit. And you could skip this if you wanted and just put some Wink of Stella here or your Spectrum Noir pen here, but I thought it added a lot. It made the scarf look a little more three-dimensional and almost like fluffy. So now I'm going to grab the embossing ink pen, and I'm putting some embossing ink on the tops of each of those little mushrooms where the snow would be. And then I'm going to take the Lawn Fawn textured white embossing powder, which gives you the effect of like a snowy top on these mushrooms. And I just dipped it down in there, and with a brush I'm just cleaning away any excess that I didn't need. And then I'm going to go ahead and heat set those with my heat gun. I'm just warming it up first, and then I'm going to heat them up. And you'll see, I'll try to get it close to the camera here where you can see that it's got a lot of texture to it. So now I'm going to grab these 2 clouds from the Spring Showers die collection, and I'm going to die cut those out of the Bristol Smooths cardstock. And I'm going to grab the Ballet Slippers cardstock from Lawn Fawn, And it's going to make an A2 size card, which will be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I scored it at 4 1/4. And now I'm going to add that glitter paper to the top of that card using my Scotch ATG 700 gun. This is a permanent double-sided tape, and I love my ATG gun. It works so quick and easy. And now I want to put some adhesive on the back of this panel. I decided to add a little strip of tape there just to secure it, and then I'm going to add glue all over the back of this, just little dots of glue, and attach that to the glitter paper. When I use the oxide inks, I like to use a scrap paper to press things into place so I don't get fingerprints or anything, especially if the ink is still a little bit wet. So now I'm going to grab the snowbank, and I'm putting glue all around the edges and not quite up to the top because I have to tuck that little tree in there later. So I want to leave some room for that. So I'm just going to press that into place. Now I'm taking the bottom snowy border and I'm going to put Scotch photo mounting tape all along the bottom of that. And I'm going to just have that be popped up a little bit just for some dimension. And that's going to get attached to the bottom of the card here. And I love that little saying, have a magical winter season. So now that little tree there, I thought I wanted it to just end a little sooner. I wanted it not to go as far into the card. So I'm just clipping off the side of that. And now I'm going to place some glue at the bottom of it and some photo mounting tape at the top just so it lines up with that snowbank that's already there. And then I'm just going to press that into place. And now I'm going to grab those three little snowy trees and I'm going to tuck those in. I'm going to tuck that one in behind there and glue it down. And then I'm going to tuck the others right in front and glue them in place. And those have that pretty stitched border on them, which I love. Now I'm going to take this little berry branch here. I'm just going to have it be kind of sprouting up in front of that tree. And then I've got this other branch that I don't need all of it. So I'm just going to trim off the bottom just so it tucks in there. And then I'm going to trim away a few of those berries because I want to use that other piece of it for another part of the card here. So I'm going to just make sure I cut it straight along the edge so it'll line up right with that edge there. And then I'm going to take this other one and tuck it in behind the tree. So that worked out well with the two. I got two out of one basically here, so that I like when that happens. So now I'm going to take these three little mushrooms and I'm just trying to figure out where I want them to go. And I'm going to have this little fairy be standing right in front here. So I want to pop her up a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bit of photo mounting tape on the back of her. And I'm just going to position her right there at the bottom of the tree. And now I've got this little mushroom. I'm just going to put some glue on. And I did need to tuck it a little, so I had to lift the fairy just a little bit to slide that in underneath there. And then I'm going to apply some glue to these other two. Now I want to put this little fairy in place. But first I thought I would put the magic wand in her hand just so I would know exactly where I needed to position her. And then again I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put photo mounting tape at the top and a little glue at the bottom, just so she lies nice and level on that snowbank there. So now up at the top I've got my two little clouds, and I'm going to just put glue on the bigger one there. And then I'm going to pop up this smaller one again with some of the foam mounting tape. I'm just going to cut a few little pieces of that and pop that up. Now I'm going to grab these Stabilo pens. These are fine liner pens. I just got these and I hope I'm saying the name right, but I really like them. They're great for journaling or signing the inside of your cards. And I'm adding a little bit of a magic wand effect here with the pen, just to make it look like she's actually making a wish here for a magical winter season. So now I'm taking the Nuvo crystal drops. These are the glitter drops. And I'm using the Sherbet Shimmer color. And I'm just applying a little bit in the center of that magic wand. And now I'm going to grab the Nuvo Crystal Glaze. And I'm just going to apply some glaze to each of those berries. And now you can see how beautiful the whole background looks with the snowflakes in the glittery paper and some of the glaze on those berries. And I love how the little mushrooms came out with the snow tops on them. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to visit me at pinkwhisperdesigns.com. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.